That's not right. Welcome to the next Pitchfork Dev Diary. This is like number 5 or 6 now. I am basically in this episode, or whatever you want to call it, this this streaming session. What do you call these things? I don't know. I'm going to be trying to quickly get this as close to playtest ready as I can. There'll probably be a few bits and pieces to it that I won't finish. I fully suspect I'll have to come back and do a part 2 to get it completely done. But by the end of this session, I want to have really put the bones on the playtest document and get it to a position where, yeah, I've got headers for all the things I want, and I really just need to put a little bit of detail in to get it ready to go. So that's the aim, and I'm going to get cracking. So before I get started, I'm just going to quickly crack a beer open. Cheers. Okay. One of the previous playtesting sessions I did was looking at Affinity Publisher. I've had a little think about this, and while I will be using Affinity Publisher eventually, for this initial playtest document, I want to get this out to as many people as possible, and I want people to comment on it, ideally whenever and wherever they can, which means keeping it in Google Docs is really the ideal place, because people can basically, at any point, can leave a comment. I can see that comment, I'll get an email alert to that comment, I can resolve it directly in the playtest document, and yeah, it's just a really convenient way to do things. So this initial version 0.1 of the playtest is going to be done like this in Google Docs, and future versions or future versions of the playtest document will be done probably in Affinity Publisher and then saved to PDF. So I've made some changes from the last time I looked at this, so yeah, I'll just kind of mention them as they come up. But basically what I'm going to be trying to do is keep things a little bit more concise than I have previously written them down. I had originally looked at the Free League OGL as a kind of template to use, but the OGL is has probably a little bit more text than I want to put in this at the start. So the assumption here, we kind of put this here. The assumption here is that people playtesting this are experienced role players. So I'm not going to be putting a section about what is role playing all about. I'm not going to be defining necessarily lots of terms. I'm just going to kind of assume that's there, and I'm not going to be really explaining in any great level of detail the rules. So there's going to be this assumption that people playtesting this are are experienced role players already, or at least done a little bit of role playing. At least the game master should have done some. So I'll put that in here right now. This is a playtest document, and as such assumes that the groups playing this, trying this game out, are experienced role players, or at least the GM. This means there won't be a section. This means you won't find sections on how to roleplay, dice, how to roleplay, glossary, a glossary of common role-playing terms, etc. In addition, the rules have been written in a concise way to emphasize, to keep the page count short and in the interest. Yeah. And impart the necessary information in as efficient a way as possible. Blurb here about how to give feedback, either in the doc, in this doc as comments, or via a Google Forms form. Just a Google form. There we go. All right. Highlight that so I come back to that. Okay, playtest feedback. That's pretty straightforward. Introduction. This is the same introduction I've written before. I've taken out the last paragraph, so really it's just saying it's a game designed about what it is, low fantasy historical settings, focuses on villagers trying to get out of bad situations alive. Your PC will be confronted with problems that cannot be ignored and will not be solved by your betters, family members wrongfully accused, etc., etc. How to use this book. So I've added all this in the meantime. So this book is going to be split into 4 sections. The first part is going to be, this is where I'm changing things up a bit. I'm going to introduce the rules at the very front. So again, I'm going to be trying to do this in concise a way as possible. So as this is a play test, I want people to really dive right in and see what the rules are all about before they actually go to create anything. So the rules are going to be there first. Then I'm going to do village creation, which is the kind of the most important part of Pitchfork. Possibly even more important than the individual player character creation. Well, I mean, you can't play without a character, so it's as important as character creation. Then part 3 is going to be that character creation, and part 4 is going to be some GM advice, specifically how to run this game and how to come up with threats to the village, which is basically what the adventures are going to all be about. What do you need to play? Just laying it out there. You need D6s. It doesn't matter what size or color they are. You can mix and match. All you need is about a dozen. Should never be more than a dozen in a single roll. I might put a rule in there to cap that as well. You need a blank sheet of paper for the village map, a community sheet, which I haven't created yet. That's going to be a printable sheet for keeping track of the community, a character sheet for each player, and a game master sheet for the GM. And I do actually want to create a game master sheet for the GM, which is going to include elements of the community sheet. And yeah, it's going to be kind of like an expanded community sheet. There'll be places on it where you can put threats and additional information for some of the key NPCs in the village, etc. That's it. So that's kind of like my introduction page finished. Straight into the rules overview then. Yeah. Let's see. This is where it gets a little funny because I'm sticking this in at the front. Originally I had the village creation first. Then I was going to go, after the village creation, going to go to, creating your villager. And then I was going to go into how the rules work. Hey. Tony's here. Hi, Tony. Well, stay as long as you can. That's cool. Good to have another person on to talk with a little bit. So not just talking at no one. Anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna be mixing this around. Villager section is gonna kind of come towards the end. Yeah. So when I'm looking at the overview of the rules, really what I want to do at the beginning here is, in fact, this isn't a level 2 header. This is a level 1 header. This is part 1 of the book. So we're gonna say part 1, rules overview, or the rules. Hey, Steph. Cool. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, the rules. Rules are the first thing. And again, I want to keep this as concise as possible. So really what I want to be looking at is talking about, and I've actually written some of this out on a notebook, which I'm going to look for. Aha. Voila. Open up to the page. I was on holiday, just got back a couple of hours ago, actually. So while I was meant to be, I had a few spare minutes, I was cracking my notebook open and taking some notes. So really, there's a few places I can look at for inspiration for you on how to write the rules. in a concise way. But really what I want to do is give an overview to start off with. And the first place to start is to look at, I guess, what a character sheet would look like. Well, no, first thing I guess to do would be to explain the core dice mechanic, or the core mechanics. So I'm going to say that right here. The rules overview, actually we'll keep that as a level 2 header, actually. Without the massive gap at the top there. So, rules overview. Pitchfork uses the... I wanted to keep my music going, sorry about that, give me a second. Put it on loop. And I might actually add a file to that, so I've got a couple of different files going. This is music from Tabletop Audio. I was a Patreon a little while ago and have some of their kind of ambient or music-only tracks, which are quite good. So I'm just going to load a few up here. How is that, by the way? How's the music? Can you hear it all right? Yeah, it's meant to be a bit low so you can hear me. It's not too distracting, so that's fine. As long as you can hear it. It's the main thing. And one more. I want this to be a little bit like oppressive, creepy, that sort of thing. So I've got 3 tracks in there, and it looks like they'll be repeating through. Cool. So, Pitchfork uses the Year Zero engine by Free League Publishing. At its core. However, there are many changes to the core, to this engine, to this, yeah, call engine, to this engine, to accommodate the goals of this game. Okay, yeah, I've got OBS running right now. Tony has done some streaming in the past as well, and in fact, we ran a Vazen game on the weekend, so less than a week ago, and we had quite a few quality issues. So I've spent a lot of time trying to get my OBS settings kind of tweaked. And this is the first time I'm running it at different settings. I live in the countryside, so I don't have access to really fast internet, which as a streamer is less than ideal, but I had been streaming at 1080p, and there were a lot of drop frames as a result. Yeah, I've been running for about 20 minutes now on this stream, and so far I have had 0 dropped frames due to my network, which is pretty good. So already I'm seeing a massive difference. Everything's green and looking great. No dropped frames or missing frames or skipped frames or anything like that. So anyway, a little bit of technical jargon there. We'll move on. Yeah, so rules overview. These are the changes I'm making to Year Zero, and I'll kind of put these at the beginning because for people who are... I'm going to be asking a lot of people within the Year Zero community, or people familiar with the Year Zero games, to play this, and as a result, there might be some expectations on what the game is going to look like, and I want to get those addressed right at the beginning so people are aware of what they're about to get themselves into. So the first big change here is that attributes have been removed. Attributes and talents have been removed. I want to say it like this. Pitchfork only uses skills from a character. Only uses... Pitchfork is primarily based on skills. Attributes and talents have been removed. Yep. It's going to work quite well, though, actually. Yeah, so I'm really shaking things up here. Just kind of get my notebook out here again. So the D6 dice pool is not going to be changed. Coriolis style darkness points used for pushing. And that's important because it's meant to feel really oppressive, like everything is out to fuck with the villagers in this game. And the darkness points really lead into that. I was thinking of ways to come up with pushing and came up with a couple of options that I thought kind of felt good. Looked at Vazen, looked at Alien with the stress mechanics and things like that. And in the end, I wanted to keep this relatively simple. And Coriolis has one of the simplest implementations, which is basically there is no cost immediate. There isn't necessarily an immediate cost to push, but there will be darkness points generated, and those can really come back and bite you in the arse later. So I really like that. It has this feel of karma going, but it's very easy to track for the players. It's one thing for the GM to keep track of, but it works quite well. I've run a Coriolis campaign, and I really like darkness points. The players really liked it. It does keep players from pushing too much. I feel it's kind of got that. The players have that expectation that doing it too often is going to really fuck with them later on down the line. So I quite like that. Yeah, exactly. Look at this big pile of dark side points. If you use the like Star Wars lingo, they're going to come and bite you, or darkness points. Well, I haven't decided what I'm going to call them yet. They might be called Doom points, something else. I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to be using something like that anyway for pushing the roll. Extra dice can be obtained through help, gear, and advantage. Though these are all capped. Well, I'll talk about the cap later after you put it here. That's the usual. That's the kind of normal thing for year 0, I guess. I'm just kind of including in there to mainly actually say that put gear first, because people might be wondering about what happens with gear. So gear is going to be there. Help's going to be a thing that you can get extra dice, and advantage is going to be another thing where you can get extra dice. Difficulty emulates difficulty as in Vazen, where additional successes may be required to proceed. I really like that, and I'll explain why in a second, but this is the next thing I want to talk about with the characters is it's going to be career focused. Each PC will have at least one career will have at least one career which hold on. Each PC will have at least one career which are ranked 1 to 3. These ranks indicate specialist skill and can be used to add pips to a dice pool. And this is a big change to the Year Zero engine. What this basically means is if you have a smith, or let's say you have a fisher career. You're playing a fisher, which is a fisherman or a fisherwoman, and there's something comes up and you need to swim. You need to make a swim test. Because you spend all your time around the water, and you're probably going into the water to catch fish, it can be assumed that you know how to swim. So, yeah, I should probably just make that maybe not the greatest example, but let's just use swimming as an example, right? As a result, if you have to make a swimming test for something that comes up in the game, and you roll your dice pool, if you're like a rank 2 fisher, that means you can add 2 pips to any of the dice in the pool. That means if you have a 6, and then you have a bunch of other dice, one of those dice is a 5, or one of those dice is a 4, you can use those 2 pips to bump that 4 up to a 6 and have 2 successes. So the reason I've done it this way is because I want to keep the dice pools in Pitchfork down, a lot smaller than they are normally. And one way to do this is to use a kind of a pip system, which is to say, okay, you're not rolling more dice because you have specialist skill. you're able to just add 1, 2, or 3 pips to the dice pool to try and get more successes. And that works really well when you're using a difficulty system like Invasion, where the GM can basically increase the number of successes required. And normally that would require a fairly big dice pool to try and keep pace with that. But I feel, at least what I want to be playtesting, is how having careers with specializations can allow you to, in things that you're quite well skilled at, to overcome the difficulty. So that's quite a big change, and something I'm really excited to kind of be delving into and to be playtesting with this. So that's a big one. I don't think I've necessarily talked about that before, actually. That was one thing I wanted to keep under my hat a little bit. Careers will have a number of skills linked. Have a number of skills. God, how do I call these career skills? Careers will have a number of linked skills. Let's take this back a step. Careers will have a key skill. So they're going to have one skill that's key to that career. A number of, or I'll say a handful of other linked skills. Career tags and trappings. Okay, so there's all things that I'm capitalizing all of the terms which are going to be actually used in this. So, yeah. As an example, if you're a smith, the smith as the key skill is going to be what I'm currently calling tinkering, which is kind of like a crafting skill. But I wanted to make this very clear that crafting is something different to tinkering. Tinkering is something anybody can do. It's used to patch up a ripped shirt. It's used to make a staff out of a piece of wood. Something that kind of any rural commoner would be able to do. And the actual proper crafting, like to use like a trades craft, are going to be completely dependent on which careers you actually have. So I've decided to rename it from crafting to tinkering and making it kind of like a general skill that everyone has access to, because I think that makes more sense than kind of keeping it. Yeah. Anyway, that's how it's going to be handled. So the key skill for a smith would be tinkering, and then there will be a number of career skills linked to that career as well. So it might be things like might, like strength. I don't know. I'll have to think of. I'll come up with these as I go. I haven't actually written these down yet for all the careers, so something I'll need to be doing. One thing I didn't mention here actually is that it's based on skills. I've removed attributes and talents, and then under this, as a result, there are a much bigger number, a much larger number of skills than usually found in a Year Zero engine game. I'm not going to put the number here because I'm still refining the exact number, but at the moment I think I'm around 24 skills. Oh boy. That's a Freudian slip there. Go on, Steph, you spotted something. Hit me with it. To advance after character creation, advancing into higher career ranks, we'll have, I don't need to put that here, that's fine. Come on. This lamp is annoying me really badly. Okay, next thing to talk about is the trauma system. Trauma will be split between physical and mental. Physical, and then in brackets I'm going to be calling this vitality. And mental, which I'm going to be calling stability. These act as skills, which can also be rolled. As a result, these are higher okay. Yeah, I'll talk about those later. But basically, they're going to be higher values. The sum of these two trauma values will be about 14. Holy shit, that's a huge number. Yep. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I can't change it anymore once I've started. I did actually. There should be a doc which prompts me what to say what the stream title is, and it didn't come up actually. I didn't even notice. Doesn't matter. What did it say? So it's saying Vazen. Yeah, if you're coming here expecting to see another Vazen game, then I apologize. I forgot to change the little email thing that came up. And I can't actually even open it now because the I've started, so I don't think I can change it. Yeah, phase and actual play. I mean, let me just actually quickly go to shit. Not Twitter, Twitch. I logged in. I am logged in. Okay. I am logged in. Okay. And now I'm hearing myself. Let me just mute that because that's going to be really trippy for you watching. Now I'm hearing myself. Holy shit. Yeah. Let's go to settings. Holy shit. Way. Yeah, Inception. I've always done this through OBS, so hopefully can find a way to change this in Twitch. Just give me a second. Apologies about this. I've still got Arma up here on Thursdays. So I need to change that too. Main screen, go to video. Main screen. Let's pause this. Phase and Actual Play Episode 2. Edit. Okay, this is Pitchfork Dev Diary. Pitchfork Dev Diary, playtest, ready or bust. Continuing to develop Pitchfork. Keep it nice and simple. Game development, design, and writing? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Et voila. Okay. Trauma. Trauma I'm really excited about. This is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to feel quite as punishing, perhaps, as most of the Year Zero engine games, but there's still going to be fairly... It's going to kind of feel a little bit more traditional, maybe, because kind of like Coriolis, actually, in that you'll have effectively hit points and mind points like Coriolis, only that these values are actually called vitality and stability. You start with that number, so you start with full vitality, full stability, and as that number decreases, there will be times when you have to roll your vitality. Vitality is not just your health, but it's also your stamina, your endurance, things like that. So anytime you need to, you're like, you get injured, or you start like, anytime you get injured, or something kind of eats at your health, you're going to find it harder to keep going. Your stamina is going to be kind of breaking down as well. And this is something I really want to be trying here. And same with stability. As you kind of take more stress, and you start taking kind of mental trauma, stability is like your cool and your willpower, stuff like that. So anytime you're trying to make to resist fear, you're going to be rolling against stability. And as you're taking stress and as your mental state is deteriorating, it's going to be harder for you to keep your cool. So those are built right into the trauma system as two kind of like core stats. I'm calling them skills. They're more like attributes a little bit, but they're the only two in the game. So I've been very careful when I've been creating the skills to not put things like endurance or willpower or cool or anything like that, because those are being handled by the trauma system itself. And again, this is something I'm really excited to be trying out. I'm taking a leaf out of Symbaroom's book a little bit with, in fact, there are other games that do this as well, but basically half of your vitality value creates like a threshold over which if you take damage that equals that threshold value, so half of your total vitality, you basically are taking a big hit and you take an instant critical. Also, when your vitality drops to 0, you also take a critical. If a big hit drops you to 0, you don't take 2 criticals, you only take a 1. And stability, I'm still playing around with what I want to do there, but I'm currently thinking that stability will also have a threshold of half of your total stability level. And when your stability drops below that point, I can either do a big hit also creates like a mental critical. And initially, I'm going to be using Vazen's critical tables in this game, which I'll put in the next bullet, actually. So I could have it that way, where if you're taking a huge amount of stress at once, you take like a mental critical. I think I might just I might just do it that way. I had something else planned initially, but I think I like this. The levels of damage, so the two of them are going to equal roughly 14. So you can decide how to split that. So the lowest you can go, though, for any one is 5. So it could be 5 and 9, or 6 and 8, or 7 and 7. So you decide how you want to split those up. Do you have more vitality but less stability, or are you kind of even on both, that sort of thing? Levels of damage are going to be typical of the levels of damage is nothing like that. They're just numbers. It's just your vitality is decreasing, your stability is decreasing, and once you get below a certain number, well, it's not even that. It's if you take a big hit, you're going to start taking critical hits. So it likes Symbaroom in that regard, if you're familiar with Symbaroom. So criticals, critical injuries, and mental criticals. I'm not sure I'm going to call these yet. Will be based on Vazen and will be inflicted whenever a big hit is landed, equal to or greater than half of your vitality or stability of your max vitality stability. Okay. What else do I need to put in there? Corruption. There's going to be a corruption mechanic. Corruption will be treated a little bit, come on, lamp, like rot in Mutant Year Zero, stroke radiation in Coriolis. But will be much more permanent. Yeah, that is kind of cool about Vazen, but I'm really wanting to go with something a little bit different here. So, yeah, it is a cool aspect of Vazen. The reason I'm going with this system here is because I really want combat. I'm wanting to use something very different for combat as well. In fact, this is going to be a big list of all the rules stuff I'm going to be doing. I might not even write it out like this. This rules overview is going to be quite long. I might just give snapshots of each section as it is, and then people can figure it out. But combat, basically, every round, you don't draw a card, you don't do anything else. You make a test at the start of the round, and this is how things are done in games like Mothership. And well, there's a bunch of games that do it like this, but Mothership is the one that I'm most familiar with. King of Dungeons is another game which I'm actually going to be emulating. But basically the idea is every round you make a test. If you succeed that test, you go before the enemies. If you fail the test, the enemies go before you. So every round, everybody's rolling against a skill or an attribute or whatever it is, depending on the game. And that determines whether they go before or after the enemy. And I want to do that because when I've played that, it actually speeds up combat. In my opinion, it speeds up combat quite well because the GM doesn't need to pause the game at the beginning and track initiative. Initiative just happens very quickly, and it makes sense, and you can actually tie it to certain things as well. So in the first round of combat, it's going to be based on you keeping your cool and acting quickly, and stability is like your cool. So you're going to be rolling your stability in the first round of combat. If you pass that stability test, that cool test, then you get to go before the enemy. So you've kept your cool, and your head is in the game, and you're going first. Second round is going to be kind of like an acrobatics, maybe an athletics test. So basically how quickly you can react to what's happening, and using your kind of like your agility to react to the kind of whatever's started, because it's your second round. And from the third round onwards, you're going to be testing your vitality. And your vitality, again, is like your stamina and your endurance. That means as you're taking damage, your vitality is going to go down. It's going to be harder for you to stay in a combat because the enemies are going to, if you keep taking damage, the enemies are going to be going before you more often than not because you're going to have fewer dice to roll for vitality. So this is something I'm really quite excited about, linking these together. When I thought about how this worked, I was aware of the trade-offs like Vazen's trauma system, for example, which I really, really like. But I will be using Vazen's trauma system in Mousepunk, the other game I'm working on, which will feel much more traditional as a Year Zero engine game. This one's really pushing the limits with some different ideas that I'm trying out. But it all works together for kind of bringing together a bunch of different systems that I really like in a way that I think work really well together. But again, playtest, we'll see if that works or not. Yeah, so corruption. I'm gonna have corruption in the game. I've already talked about big hits, vitality, blah 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 blah. Darkness points I've mentioned already using Kroyo style. Okay, that's really an overview of what I'm gonna be doing here. So if you want to compare initiative for other PCs, you don't. If the PCs are attacking each other, then they would roll. They would do a roll off. They do an opposed roll with whatever skill they're doing in that round, and that would determine. Yeah. So, yeah, that's something I have to think about, like how they go in relation to the other, like whether the enemies go before them. Then in that case, if there are other enemies, but yeah, I think I'll have to think about that. It is something that has come up, and a question has been asked before. When I have pitched this to a few other people, the combat system. In fact, I'm mentioning combat here. Combat initiative will be rolled at the start of every round, but not recorded by anyone. If you pass the initiative test, you go before the enemies. If you fail, you go after. You go after them. Yeah, I think that's kind of more or less what I want to talk about here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess this is something I need to play test. Like, let's play test some PvP. I think if you're playing it, if you're playing PvP without any enemies, so it's literally just the players teaming up on each other, you can handle that really narratively. You might not even need to use initiative, although it kind of makes sense, but you can just basically say who's acting first and then just take turns with whoever's going. if you wanted to do initiative, you could still do it every round, but basically all the players would roll, and it would be an opposed roll against each other, is how I'm thinking of it. It kind of breaks down when you're thinking about enemies and PvP. So if they're, for example, if you're fighting against some supernatural creature and it is possessing the PCs, and the PCs are then under its control. Although I'd argue then that they become an enemy then. So it's more a case of where players turn on each other while there are enemies around, which kind of seems like suicide to everyone involved, really. Although I'm sure there are situations when that could be possible. So anyway, we'll come up with that in playtesting. But I do want to try this here initially like this. So combat advice for simplifying combat and only using full combat rules during big encounters. All right, that'll do. Let's jump into the next section then. So we're going to go to a new page. All right, next section. First section is going to be let me get a Year Zero game book. I'd love to open Vaesen right now, but I haven't got it delivered yet. I've had the delivery notice, but it's been more than a week and it still hasn't been delivered, so I'll just have to wait for it for a little bit. Let me open it. We've got the latest PDF, so role-playing Year Zero. Oh, there's Vaesen. Okay, here we go. So it kind of starts with skills, right? It starts talking about how you make a roll, how you add modifiers, etc. So I'm going to jump straight into here and say, in fact, what I really want to do here is look at Year Zero Mini, because this is a game I've squeezed the rules onto a single page. So it's a good way to look at something I've already created and try and keep it relatively similar. So Year Zero Mini, I'm going to open the latest draft document I've got of it, which is this one here. Yeah, I mean, I can almost copy this. I'm gonna put this on the other side here. So, first thing is gonna be rolling dice. Next section is gonna be building the pool. I kind of need to talk about what elements of a character. I feel like this should almost be because I need to talk about skills and things. It all ties together, doesn't it? We'll start with rolling the dice, building the pool. 6 means success. Then I start talking about conflict and climatic scenes, trauma, re-rolling, luck points, all that kind of stuff. That can come after. So then I can start talking about elements of a character. Elements of a character. And within that, we're going to talk about skills. We're going to talk about career. We're going to talk about... I've got it here, actually. Age, I'm not so bothered about for this stage. I can come later on. Personality. That's kind of it, really. Yeah. So this is going to be level 2, and these are going to be level 3 underneath it. And level 3 shouldn't be like that. It should be like that. With... God, there's a huge gap there at the front. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of formatting here. I apologize. Line spacing, custom spacing. 16, holy shit. No, we're going to do 6 after, and we're going to do none. Yeah, we're going to do 6 before. Let's try that. And we're going to then update heading 3 to match. Elements of character. Skills, career, personality. Those are the main things you need to know when you're getting the gist of the rules at the front of the game here. So these are going to be very small sections. I want to talk about... what else do I want to talk about? Pushing. Rerolling. And darkness points. Oh, one thing I need to talk about here. Skills and career and trauma. Trauma needs to be mentioned there. Rerolling and darkness points. Oh, advancement. And I am going to be using experience points for the playtest. I might get rid of that. I have done other things other than experience points, but that's what I'm going to be trying my hand at for now. That's kind of more or less it. I do want to talk a little bit more about skills, but I don't have a separate... skills need their own section, though. Elements of a character. So skills... I guess I'll just put all the skills in there. One thing I am looking at is... Oh, I need to talk about conflict, of course. So conflict... Simple conflict... combat. What was I referring to it as before up here? Full combat rules. Expanded conflict? Something like that. I'll call this something different later. So simple conflict, so that's not just necessarily combat, but also social conflict, that sort of thing. Expanded combat. Actually, I have an idea for this I wanted to use. I forgot about this. I'm going to put it up here. Advice for simplifying conflict, and only using full action rules during during more climatic scenes. Initiative will be rolled at the start during a climatic action scene. I'm not a huge fan of this term right now, but I want to avoid calling it combat. So we're going to call this climatic. Climac. It's not climate. It's climax. Climactic action. And a big part of this is the thing I'm excited about, is that I'm going to be having chase rules in here. And the chase rules are going to be designed in a way that they happen alongside combat, where it can make a lot of sense to start running away and not just handling that with a flee roll like most of the Year Zero Engine games do, but actually have that just swallowed up and handled like the rest of the kind of combat encounter. Or you have a chase scene, and the chase scene evolves from a chase scene straight into sort of a combat once one side catches up to the other. You're not necessarily doing two different systems of play. They kind of all play into each other. And the reason I wanted to do this is because if you look at typical like horror, especially looking at horror, the horror genre, looking at films and horror, combat isn't normally a big element of that. They're not action films. They're gritty, they're brutal, that sort of thing. And I'm kind of going for a bit of a horror vibe in this game. But one thing that definitely features in horror is chases. And I actually did a podcast episode recently on Mud and Blood. In fact, it was just released this week, in fact, about chases, about how to handle chase scenes. And I've been thinking about that a lot for Pitchfork. And this is something I've got a lot of ideas around, and I want to include here. But the idea here is that in a really tense scene, you should be you should be giving chases as much of the spotlight as combat, because they're just as exciting. It's a piece of action. that's different to the rest of the feel of the rest of the film or whatever, you know, the book or the game, whatever you're looking at it as. And it should really feel like a showpiece type of thing. And tying it in so it uses the same rules, I think, is really important. So we'll see how that goes. Because to me that's a higher design goal than the initiative thing. So if the initiative doesn't seem to work out well with the chase rules, although I've thought of a way that I think they do, then I will happily ditch the chase rules and the initiative rules I've come up with for something else so that it fits well within whatever I come up with chasing and combat together. So to get away from this idea of combat as a thing, I'm going to stick to thinking of them as action scenes, right? This is where action is happening. Action being fighting or running away from something that's chasing you. Yeah, action. So I'm not a huge fan of this term because it's loaded. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Calling a gritty and a very, very gritty, grimy game, putting the term action in it kind of sounds, oxymoronic, but I'm going to try and stick with it. So anyway, chase scenes, I'm going to put this here. Chase scenes will be integral to climactic action scenes. And I just seen I've called it the wrong thing above here too. All right. Climactic action. Combat. Chase scenes. Combat scenes. Chase scenes. All right. These are all level 2. Oh man, these really look like shit. I'll fix them later. Alright, rolling dice. I already talked about this up here. So I'm actually copying the text from Year Zero Mini here, and I'm just going to tweak this. So Pitchfork uses standard 6-sided dice, d6s, when you roll. The number of dice is referred to as a pool of dice. You roll your pool of dice anytime you attempt a dramatic action, but only when failing the roll would be meaningful. And that is italicized. The GM will tell you when to roll, as well as will tell you when to roll, when and what to roll. Building the pool was the next one. What the hell happened here? Whoa, okay. Something very weird is going on here. Building the pool. Okay, I need to put just spaces after each of these. That's very weird. Google Docs. You little bastard. Okay, you gonna be nice now? Looks like it. Building the pool. Yep, copying and pasting again. Why not? This is nice and succinct. Built this to be succinct. When it's time to roll, the GM will tell you which skill to use. The number of dice in your pool is simply the rank of the skill you have been asked to use, plus any modifiers. Plus or minus 1d simply means add or remove. Plus 1d simply means add 1 die to your pool. I'm saying that I'm taking out the minus because negative modifiers don't actually reduce your dice pool. As I said before, they increase the difficulty. So we're gonna make all of these into bulleted list. Right, we said if a piece of gear can be used for a roll, gain dice equal to its bonus value. So gear will have bonus values. Not all of them will be able to do that, but some of them will. And this will usually be +1 or +2 D. I'm just going to remove that because I want to keep this on one line, make it look neat. I've also said that help if any other characters can help, gain +1D. Only +1. You don't get up to +3. Again, I'm trying to keep dice pools down in this game. If there is anything else which could grant an advantage, gain +1D. That's it. I haven't talked about careers yet, but I will talk about them here. 6 means success. I'll talk about complications in this. Oh yeah. To succeed at a roll, all you need is at least 1 6. I need to put in here difficulty. Career pips. I'll talk about career pips actually after difficulty down here. Yeah. Okay. Difficulty. This is where I'm going to open Vaesen, because Vaesen actually starts talking about difficulty in its game. And I might just look at... So I'm going to paraphrase here. I'm going to paste it in what it's got, and I'm going to... Yeah, so I want to keep this in extreme cases. The GM may decide that more than 1 success is required. There's a little table there that says normal. A challenging action requires 2 successes, while a difficult one requires 3 successes. I'll just say here normal. Normal challenges are the default difficulty and only require 1 success. A challenge, whereas a challenging action requires 2 successes and a difficult one requires 3 successes. Normal challenges require 1 success. Challenging action requires 2 successes. And a difficult one, 3 successes. Elements of a character. Let's get rid of that for now. Talk about skills. I actually had written something down here for skills. Let me see if I can just borrow some of that. Copy and paste. Skills are categorized as general or advanced. I'm going to keep that. Anytime you make a skill roll, you pick up a number of dice. I've already talked about that. To use an advanced skill, you must have at least 1 point in it. General skills already have the first rank marked. We'll talk about that later. The full list of skills can be found below. They will be described. Do I want to describe them here, or do I want to describe them in the character creation chapter? I'm not going to be talking about them again. This is the ideas. This is for the playtest. This is going to be... God, you know what? Forget it. Because this is just for playtesting. I don't need to talk about them. I don't need to talk about them more than here. It should be fairly obvious about what they all relate to. So, this is where I had some changes to make. And I'm going to be moving some stuff around. So, for example, tinkering is going to be going over here. Rather than over here. I'm not sure yet whether I'm keeping sorcery. Streetwise, I wanted to change to contacts. Make it a general skill. What else did I want to do? I'm going to keep sorcery for now. Keep it highlighted though. What else? I did have a big chat with people about this over on Discord. What the hell? From me? Oh, I can't do that. Shit. Yeah, okay. Folklore is also going to go over here into general skills and not under advanced. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 general skills. And 9 advanced skills. That should be fine for now. Swimming being separated from... Alright, took out athletics. I had to think about what does athletics involve? Athletics involves either feats of endurance, where you're running for a long time, for example, long distance running. And I have an endurance skill already, which is vitality. So what are the other times when you would normally be rolling for athletics in a game? And really it's climbing and swimming. So I just wanted to split those out from athletics, not have a standard athletics skill. And so I've split them out. And here we have climbing as a general skill. Anybody can climb at least a little bit. Yeah. And I don't know why I sound more Irish. It's just my normal. I'm just talking normally. I've been drinking a little bit. Swimming is, yeah. Swimming should be an advanced skill. If you don't know how to, if you've never learned how to swim, you can't just fake it. You'll just sink, right? Tipsy Matt, maybe. I mean, I haven't had anything else to drink tonight. This is a half a liter beer bottle, and it's currently up to here. So I've only had like that much, which is nothing. So I think it's more I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. I slept in a tent last night, and it was hell. So I'm a little bit, yeah. Anyway, lack of practice. I'm a lightweight. Happy to say it. So yeah, athletics has been taken out. I could talk about the little general skills here, but one thing that I really wanted to highlight here is the combat related skills, because I wanted to actually break these out a little bit. So I'm going to color these blue, and really we have 5. That color is horrible. Oh god, that's even worse. Right? Throwing isn't in here. I should probably put throwing in here as a skill. Might is grappling. So might would be grappling. Which is like shows might is like force, but I wanted to just kind of include it with grappling. It almost makes sense to take might. No, I need might because it's kind of like the strength skill. Maybe I should have grappling in here as a general skill as well and put grappling in. But then I've got a lot of potential combat skills. Because you can kind of include throwing in there as well. But that's fine. This is a play test. I kind of want to, you know, test the waters here. Grappling is like hand-to-hand combat without any weapons. So if you're wrestling with somebody, you're trying to yeah, I mean for Pitchfork, for villagers, it's going to be pretty... Oh, in fact, that could just be under basic melee. Basic melee can include grappling. Yeah, I think I like that. That's basically... Yeah, that's kind of what I created it for anyway. Yeah. Oh, basic range was going to include throwing. I'm just forgetting why I included all this stuff. There we go. Basic ranged is basically throwing things, so using kind of ranged combat or using a sling. So kind of assumes anybody can use a sling or anybody can throw things and hit things. So that falls under basic range. Basic melee is using things like knives, simple weapons. If you're using a stick like a club to hit something, or you're fighting somebody, you know, fisticuffs if you're just grappling, that falls under basic melee. If you're using any kind of martial weapon, like a hand-to-hand weapon, that will fall under martial combat. If you're using a bow, that comes under archery. If you're using any other kind of ranged weapon that doesn't require archery skills, such as a crossbow or some sort of flintlock or like gunpowder type of weapon, that'll be ballistics. So really the knowledge and how to load those weapons. I don't expect anyone in Pitchfork to be using ballistics because they're not gonna really have access to things like crossbows or gunpowder weapons because they're gonna be quite expensive. Sway is manipulation, effectively. I might rename that so it's a little bit more obvious what it is. I've been yeah, going back and forth on some of the names of these things. We'll call it manipulation for now. If we look at social skills really fall under manipulation, inspiration, contacts, and that's kind of it. So I'm happy for that to be split out a little bit. Yeah, I think my manipulation makes it a little bit more obvious what it is. Climbing is not really might. Might is really like smashing things, breaking things, lifting things up. So climbing is a lot more. Climbing is a big part of climbing is physical strength, but that's not the only part of it. So I think climbing should be its own separate skill, and might is just basically like feats of strength. In fact, I could replace might with I don't know what else to call it. So I'm calling it might for now. I might call it something like. Because that makes sense. Like if you want to lift something, roll for your might. In fact, maybe what I should do here is actually give some examples in brackets or something. So acrobatics, dodge, balance. Let's try and give maybe 2 examples of each because I'm not sure how much space I've got here. Dodging and balancing. In fact, I've got this written down somewhere else. Let me actually open that. This one. What was I calling? Didn't have it in that original. This is a while ago. Or did I have it? I might have had actually spelled them out here under skills. Voila! So I've already actually written stuff out for these. Roll to move explosively, balance, dodge, leap, or land gracefully from a fall. So I almost feel like I should copy and paste a lot of this stuff here. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. skills. We're going to replace that with a table, actually. So paste. And we're going to do it like this. We're going to not have headers. We're going to handle it like this. Acrobatics. Ah, come on. Alphabetical order. Animal handling. No athletics. We have archery, which we'll need to add in there. We've got awareness. Then we got basic melee. Basic mel. Yeah, I can take that out, actually. The idea here, Shogun, is that Pitchfork is going to be the base rule set that I'm going to be using for ideally 4 books in total, including a book about mercenaries. So the first one is about rural commoners. The second book is going to be about, the second game is going to be about urban commoners. The third one is going to be about criminals, and the fourth one is going to be about mercenaries. So one thing I can definitely do here is I can take out those skills that aren't going to have any use in this specific one, but I'm keeping them in there for now because I think what I might do, in fact, let me just highlight these because these probably should be taken out anyway. Let's put them on red. So those ones there, I want to keep them there because this is currently like my master rule set for what that's going to be used across all of these games, and I kind of want to think about what I envision for a Warhammer-like experience. So you could make any kind of character, whether it's a martial, a criminal, a rural, or an urban character, and this rule set should be able to handle all of it. But definitely not, not all of the skills are going to apply for every scenario, every kind of focus. So yeah, that makes sense. I'll happily take archery, ballistics, and martial combat out because that won't be used by any of the rural races. Careers, but thinking about that, archery could be used by a hunter, so I'm going to leave that one in. So keep archery as a separate one. Yeah, hunter, I think I've got hunter as a career. You can just scroll down. Hunter, right there. Yeah. So I definitely want to keep the archery in there. But certainly ballistics and martial combat are not going to be used, so they can come out. Yeah, but I'll keep them in there for now because I want to think about them. But archery is in there. Basic melee needs to be in there. It's not actually that the description is pretty off. This is also not craft anymore, but tinkering, so this can go right at the end. Deep. And this needs to be reworded. Roll to create or repair a variety of simple objects. Specialized items. Specialized items will require you to have a specialized items will require how do I refer this? Specialized items, more specialist items will require a relevant career. I wonder if I should call that crafting anyway instead of tinkering. I think I will actually keep it crafting. I kind of like the term tinkering, but I'm not sure it actually makes it any less. Or like makes it more, might make it a little bit more confusing. Okay, so I had basic melee there. I wanted basic ranged. Ballistics before. Again, I'll be taking that out. Climbing contacts crafting. So we want climbing. Contacts. Crafting. Okay. And then what have we got? Let me just do this. I'm gonna take a quick snapshot. Put it over there. So I don't have to keep referencing back and forth. Make that bold, make that bold. Folklore before healing. Yeah, the idea here is that these are going to be really short books as well, like probably 64-ish pages, kind of like a zine format. In fact, I can show some zine formats here. I've got this game called 17th Century Minimalist. It's only 40 pages long. It's A5 ish. Actually, it might even be a bit smaller than A5. But yeah, it's very simple. It's got everything you need in it, not much else. I'm kind of thinking that I want that for Pitchfork. Pitchfork's going to be very focused on providing a game about rural commoners. And yeah, the other books are going to be focused on providing a game about your neighborhood in the city, your gang, and your mercenary company. And then if all these games work and they're popular and people are playing them, then eventually I can kind of maybe combine them all into like a deluxe edition that has all 4 of them together with you know, how you create a village, how you create a city, neighborhood, gang, and mercenary company kind of as appendices in the back or something. But for now, I'm doing them as separate books, so I can really provide a focused, kind of a focused game. Yeah, that's kind of how I want to be doing this. So healing is followed then by insight, which I've already got here. Good. Followed by inspiration. Followed by investigation. Followed by folklore is now replacing lore. In fact, that's not really what folklore is about, so I'm going to highlight this to come back to it later. Neither is basic melee. That needs to be rewritten as well. I'll come back to this. Healing, insight, inspiration, investigation. Lore is gone. Might is still there, but I have martial combat first. Again, that's going to be taken out. Might is roll to lift something heavy, demolish something with force, and that's it. Lift something heavy. Lift or move something heavy, or demolish something with force. Carrying something, I will say feats of endurance should be rolled against vitality. Alright, operate vehicle can come right out. That's not a thing here. Outdoor survival. It's not the next one. We have manipulation actually needs to come in here. Martial manip. That's a sway down here. Streetwise is not here anymore either. Take that out. Okay, where were we at? Might. Navigation is the next one, which is kind of outdoor survival, but I'm keeping that one too. So these two are going to be kept. In fact, I'm just going to highlight all these. It's a bit easier. Normal text just makes this a little bit quicker. Navigation. Outdoor survival is that one below it. I'm wondering whether I should split these as basic and advanced skills actually as I'm laying them out rather than all in alphabetical order. I don't know. Skullduggery has become sleight of hand. So that's to lockpick, pickpockets, perform sleight of hand tricks, or perform not sleight of hand tricks because I'm calling it sleight of hand. Perform dexterous tricks of dexterity, like juggling, palming, or card sharpening. Or perform tricks of finesse. Roll to lockpick, pickpockets, or perform tricks of finesse like juggling, palming, or card sharpening. Yeah, fine. I'll do for now. Sorcery. Oh, stealth. Where did stealth go? Stealth has gone missing. And that was not deliberate. Oh, it is there. It's right under sleight of hand. Okay, stealth is still there. Cool. Not in my screenshot for some reason. So we've got sleight of hand, sorcery, stealth, and then last but not least, we got swimming. Okay. Let me just count these up very quickly. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In fact, I think I will split these up and do them by general. Shit. Okay, so we're gonna call this general skills, and that's gonna be heading level 3. Acrobatics, awareness. Basic melee, basic range, climbing, contacts, crafting, folklore, healing comes out of here. Martial combat's the next one. Navigation, outdoor survival, sorcery, and swimming. Okay. So let's give them a count. Acrobatics, awareness. So we got, I'll just compare it to my list here. So we'll just do this. Got acrobatics, awareness, basic melee, basic range, climbing, contacts, crafting, folklore, insight, inspiration, investigation, manipulation, might, sleight of hand, and stealth, which I cut off there at the bottom. Advanced skills, then I have animal handling, archery, ballistics, healing, martial combat, navigation, outdoor survival, sorcery, and swimming. Okay. So they're all there. And just to count them up again, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 15 of the general skills still, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And still 9 advanced skills. So, yeah. 15 plus 9 is 24. Yeah. That seems alright to me to start off with. Sorcery will stay. I've got it highlighted because I'm not sure what I want to do with it, but it is going to stay. I'm going to put magic in here. In fact, I need to put magic in as a section up here. It'll be under rules. There'll be a rule for doing magic. In fact, that'll be a thing here to put in. Magic will be similar, will be freeform and based roughly on hedge magic. Hedge stroke practical magic. Yep, I have one. I want to include a different type of magic in every game I'm going to be creating. So for criminals, it'll be probably something like illusion. There'll only be one. Usually, there'll only be one career that will handle magic. And in this case, I'm going to be making sure that it's not super powerful. I've got a lot of ideas on how to do magic as well. It's going to be pretty damaging. So, you know, if you're going to be trying to use magic, first of all, it's going to hurt you every time you try and use it, use a spell, and there's a chance that it will cause corruption or have a mishap. So it's going to be pretty brutal to use. But yeah, I definitely want to be playtesting that. It might be something I take out of it. And the idea of it behind a commoner doing magic is I want to tie this to Warhammer very much so. I want to be using this as a Warhammer like hack, alternate setting for Warhammer. But the winds of magic are all governed by the magical colleges, and they're all the wizards are in positions of quite a bit of authority in the old world. So I don't really want to have any proper wizards in this game, but there are also unsanctioned kind of classes of magic that can be used in Warhammer, and I'm going to be tapping into those. One of them is witchcraft, which is effectively what is being shown here. So this is like the hedge magic. And this would be people who are, in fact, one of the careers I've got here is called, I think I've called it a hedgewise. And the idea behind that is basically, right here, is that you are a kind of healer, herbalist type of person, but really you're using magic to, subtly using magic to kind of fix problems, that sort of thing. And I've got ideas for it in the other supplements as well. So there will be a magic system in each game. They're going to be based on the same base system, but they're going to have different flavors for each game. With the mercenary one being the really forbidden kind of like dark magic. Yeah, like Aquilare, right? Okay, back up to where I was. Yeah, so here, instead of listing all the skills out, I'm going to put a table in, I think, because that'll be a slightly easier way of showing it all. So let me see if I can actually just insert a table like this, nice and easy. That would be too easy, I think. Yeah, okay. So I want 2 columns, and I want it to be 15, 16, because of the headers. God, that's ugly. But it kind of works, actually. How are you going to do that? Insert table. Let's make it 15. Let's make it 16, 17. So 1 each. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I doing? It should be 20. Oh God, what am I thinking? This doesn't make any sense. Sorry, my brain is frazzled right now. Right, I'm just delete that. Let's go. Here we go. So insert a table. I need 16. 16 by 2. And I don't want it to be 2 columns. Like, God, why is it doing 2 columns? Because I got two columns right here. Okay, so let's get rid of the 2 columns. There we go. All right. They're back. Okay, 2 columns are gone. There we go. There we go. There we go. Insert a table. We want it 16 by 2. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. We'll make these a lot narrower. So table properties, take the cell padding down to like 0.1. Yeah. There we go. And I want these all to be center aligned. We're gonna have general skills. We're gonna have advanced skills. Bold. There we go. All right. So we have acrobatics. We have awareness. We have basic melee. We have basic ranged. Climbing. Contacts. Crafting. Folklore. Insight. Inspiration. Investigation. Manipulation. Might, sleight of hand, and stealth. Defense skills we have animal handling, archery, ballistics, healing. I'm trying my touch typing, see if I can still do it. Which I can, I guess. Navigation. Outdoor survival, sorcery, and swimming. Okay. And again, I'm going to probably be stripping out ballistics and martial combat eventually up from this list. In fact, I probably leave it in for now again. I do kind of want to leave it there. Table properties, I don't want... This is where this program is a little bit shit, but I can't really remove the certain cells. That's okay. So we're going to go like that. And we're going to try a little bit of formatting. Google Docs is a little bit shit for this, but I'm going to try it anyway. Table properties, I want this table to be on the right. And I want it to be... Can I... treat it as... Like, I want the text to be to the left of it. I'm not sure how to do that. Fuck it. Who cares? Leave that as it is. Alright. So there's my list of skills. I'll do this later in PDF, I guess. I got my general skills underneath it, where I'm talking about acrobatics, I'm talking about awareness, basic melee, basic ranged, etc. All the way down to my advanced skills. So that works. What I don't like is the difference here in getting rid of the elements of a character. I'm just going to call it skills as a level 2 header. Then we're going to call it, we're going to talk about career, talk about trauma. Yep, that'll do. That sound, hopefully that didn't sound too Irish. Okay. That works. That looks really shit. 18 before. Fucking hell. Let's reduce that to 12. And we're going to update. Only 6 after, huh? So maybe this shouldn't be quite as big. Heading to... Okay. I thought I just had this in here where it's meant to be... Don't know what's going on here. Six before, 0 after. What's with the after bit there? Interesting. 12 before. There should be nothing after it. This text should be right next to it. We'll check that in a second. But I'm going to update that. And let's check this. Normal. Nothing before. This literally should be touching right now. Whatever. Not gonna worry about it too much right now. Alright. So career. I want to be very succinct here in how I'm talking about career. I actually have written some stuff down here, so I actually just copy some of this because I'll probably be getting rid of it a little bit. Nope. Your villager is assumed to have at least one occupation, one profession. The playtest as soon as possible. I would actually quite like to get this out ready for playtesting by next week, by the end of the month. I would be surprised if it's ready by then, but I mean, if I try and keep this nice and quick, then that might be able to happen. I'm just looking at the time. I'm an hour and 40 minutes into this, and I don't seem to have I haven't actually written very much, which is a little bit worrying, mainly because I've summarized my rules bit at the top here, and I was talking for a bit at the start about what I'm doing, and faffing around with stupid formatting. This is my problem, is I'm trying to keep things succinct, and it never really works. It just kind of, things tend to expand out bigger than I want them, so I'll have to think about how to do this, really. Whether it makes sense to split these things out one at a time like this, or whether it makes sense to... Yeah, formatting I'm not so worried about right now, but it's more like I need to have them... I still need to have headers and stuff. I shouldn't be worrying about like how they're... Yeah, all this stuff where I'm going up to format and I'm looking at line spacing is a waste of time at the moment, but yeah. So your villagers assumed to have at least one profession. At character creation. Each career is ranked 1 to 3. Apprentice, journeyman, master. And it is possible to move between careers as well as improving within them. It is possible to gain new careers as well as improve within. Yeah, makes sense. To gain additional careers, I should say. So the idea, this is kind of taking a page out of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. But yeah, basically I have an idea here for how I want to do careers, so that you can stay within, go apprentice, journeyman, master. But also, if you want to and you want to move into another career, there will be the means behind being able to do that. There'll be rules behind how you can do that. So it kind of feels, it will feel a little bit like Warhammer in that respect, or Wolfrip in that respect. Then I want to say that careers, your rank, your career rank grants a number of pips which can be used in the, which can be used to increase one or more die values in your dice pool, assuming the test, assuming the skill test is related to that career. For example, a climber, a rank 2 climber is attempting to climb a cliff face. With a climbing skill of 6. It is raining and dark, so the GM has set a difficulty of 2 required. Has set a challenging difficulty level. Brackets, 2 successes are required. The PC rolls and gets rolls the following dice: 6, 4, 4, 3. If I can get rid of one of those 4s, just to make it a little bit clearer here. 3, 3, 2, 1. Because the Climber is rank 2, because the character is a rank 2 Climber, they can add 2 pips to the die to the die which rolled a 4, bringing it up to a 6 and providing the 2 necessary successes, and providing the 2 successes necessary to climb the cliff. Okay, that's kind of important to put an example in here because the pips are very different to anything else. So yeah, scaled playtesting where I'm only playtesting certain elements of it before I'm releasing the whole document, kind of where I think I'm going to be heading with this. So yeah, that is kind of my intent, Tony. I did actually want to mention here under 6's mean success, I didn't really finish that before I kind of just jumped down. To succeed at a roll, you need at least 1 6. That's not all you need. You need at least 1 6. For more challenging tests. I'm using the word test a lot here. Anytime you attempt a dramatic action called a test. I said I was going to put terms in here like that, but I'm doing it anyway. So for more challenging tests, 2 or 3 successes might be required. See below. In addition, if a career is relevant, if training in a career is relevant, the rank in that career can be used to add pips to the dice pool to potentially upgrade dice to additional successes. It's a little bit too wordy. But yeah, see careers below. Yeah. Trauma. Let's look at Coriolis. Coriolis has a very similar trauma system to what I'm using here, so I might just look at how they've summarized it at the beginning and then paraphrase. Combat damage. I actually pinned her here. Hit points and mind points. That's it. Alright. To measure how much trauma you can take, Pitchfork uses two numeric ratings, hit points and mind points, which is not. Pitchfork uses two traits to measure how much trauma you can endure. Vitality and stability. Vitality. Vitality is a measure of your health. Is not just a measure of your health, but also your stamina, toughness. Your stamina and toughness. This gets rolled as a skill anytime feats of endurance are required. Okay. This one there is not just a measure. Yeah, thank you. Autocorrect. Stability is likewise. Stability is not just a measure of your mental health. But also your cool and your willpower and cool. This gets rolled as a skill anytime acts, hold on, how do I say this? Anytime your courage is called into question. Both of these traits have, that can get discussed late. Oh, maybe we can discuss here. Both of these have a threshold value. Half of them of their maximum rounded down. If a single instance of incoming damage or stress equals or exceeds the threshold value, critical injury or a mental. What do I want to call these? I want to use the Vazen crits for this, so I'm just going to look at very quickly what Vazen are calling them under conflicts and injuries. I think they call them like physical critical injuries and mental critical injuries. Okay, a physical or mental critical injury is inflicted. If either of these values drops to 0, a physical or mental critical injury is inflicted. Okay. I think that's probably enough for now. Say ranked between 5 and 9. Yeah. Personality. Villagers in Pitchfork are more than just a set of numbers. They also have a number of skills and careers. They also have a number of personality traits. These are used to add some background flavor to your character, but are also these are not only used to add background flavor to your character, but also to provide opportunities to earn experience points. I'm just gonna call it experience, not experience points. Re-rolling and darkness points. This should probably go up a little bit higher. I was just thinking about these pips for careers and how that ties into re-rolling. I want re-rolling and darkness points to come above the skills. I'm putting it up here. I'm actually gonna copy stuff out of Year Zero Mini again here for re-rolling. It's very different though, isn't it? But at least I've summarized it very succinctly there. You can re-roll. In fact, let's pull up what Coriolis also says about re-rolling, because I'm actually using their darkness points. Let's see, what do they say about it when they first talk about it? Okay, it's under skills probably then. Only one chance modification, general skills, so it's going to be pranked to the icons probably. See below. The dark between the stars. Yeah, okay, they talk about re-rolling. If you fail a roll, or you need more successes than are currently showing, you have the opportunity to re-roll. some or all to reroll as many dice as you wish. All right, Tony, no problem. It's 11 o'clock. I was meant to be stopping here anyway, so I have a feeling there's a lot more here I need I need to put in. Although I've actually, just looking at it here, I just need to talk about re-rolling a bit, so I might just continue on and finish this section up. Put a little bit in here around experience advancement. This is going to be a fairly big section, and if I'm not putting this in anywhere else in the game, then I might need to actually make this into like a couple of pages. So, because this is pretty vital. So that's going to take a little while to write out. I don't think I can just write that down tonight for like another 10 or 15 minutes. And that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about with the basic rules. So once I have all that finished, hi Attila, I'm just finishing up. Basically, once I have all that finished, then you just need to scrub this up a little bit, and yeah, come up with a character sheet and some of the other sheets I mentioned at the beginning, and that should be fairly quick for me to do, and I'll be ready to playtest. So, yeah, good night, Tony. Attila, yeah, I've been 2 hours. I've been kind of trying to get this playtest ready. So just kind of re-scrubbing everything. I'm going to keep going a little bit longer. I just want to kind of finish the sections I was just working on. So if you fail a roll or need more successes than are currently showing, you have the opportunity to re-roll as many dice as you wish. I'm saying this, so that could be because of how the careers work. You could theoretically hold, if you have a career level of, say, 2, if you roll a 5, you might want to hold that 5, because you can use one of those career ranks to increase that to a 6. And if you reroll the rest of the dice and you get another 5, then you basically could have 3 successes on that. And I think that's a level of tactical play that I want to encourage. So I may end up getting rid of this whole pips thing if it doesn't really fit very well. I could even try getting rid of pushing and re-rolling as a mechanic in Pitchfork. But I kind of want to keep it. So at this stage, I'm just going to be making it a statement that you can re-roll as many dice as you wish, leaving it like that, and people can figure out how that works with the pip system. If you can re-roll as many dice as you wish, normally I'll just leave it like that. You basically want to keep, you definitely want to keep 6s. And if a roll is relevant, if a test, because I can use that now, is relevant to your career, you might want to hold some other dice as well. Rerolling, I'm going to call it Doom actually. I like the term Doom. However, re-rolling your dice pool does not come freely. Re-rolling your dice pool comes at a cost. Each time the GM collects 1 point of Doom each time a player re-rolls. You can only re-roll a dice pool once per test. Rerolling a dice pool comes at a cost. The GM collects 1 point of Doom each time a player re-rolls. Each time you re-roll, the GM gets 1 point of doom. Doom can be saved between sessions, and there is no cap to how many a GM can collect. The GM can use Doom as a dramatic tool. I'm basically quoting from Coriolis here. To put obstacles. Okay, I'm gonna do this here. As a dramatic tool to put obstacles in the PC's way or help NPCs in a pinch. Doom also has a psychological effect on the players. Seeing the growing pool of tokens becomes an omen that something bad is about to happen. The GM can use Doom whenever or however they want. To create the most suspense possible. More info on here are some examples of how the GM can spend Doom. Reroll. Okay, that's basically copy and pasted from Coriolis. Oh man, I got a bug bite. Camping in the summer is not fun in North America. I guess anywhere really. It has mosquitoes. Rerolling your dice pool comes at a cost, however, each time you reroll, the GM gets 1 point of Doom. The GM can use Doom as a dramatic tool. The GM can use Doom to put... The GM can use Doom as a dramatic device to increase tension and put obstacles in the PC's way. The GM can use Doom whenever or however they want to create the most suspense possible. Whenever and however they choose, as a dramatic device to increase tension and put obstacles in the PC's way. As a dramatic device to complicate the PCs, to complicate things for the PCs. That's nice and summarizing it a little bit nicely. The GM can use Doom whenever and however they choose as a dramatic device to complicate things for the PCs. List of things the GM can do. I'll do this later. Just want to spell this out for now. All right. Cool. Rerolling and Doom is done. Let's jump down to experience and advancement. I wanted to keep this relatively straightforward, so One thing I didn't talk about was personality. I didn't finish this. The personality traits in Pitchfork are motivation. Why is that not allowing? Okay, interesting. Problem. That's it. Oh. Relationships. I'm actually going to refer to user mini again here, because user mini, I've actually again written these down fairly succinctly. Your motivation is a 1 to 2 word description of the one thing you want more than any other, which drives many of your actions. Like, blah, blah, blah. These are terms, these are exact terms used in user mini, by the way. I've got motivation, problem, and friend. I'm changing friend around. I'm increasing it to something similar to the other games, but basically relationships are going to be one other PC plus one NPC to protect and one NPC that you hate. Problem in this case is your problem is the thing that slaps you in the face with worry when you want to relax. I don't like the wording of that very much. What do they call this in? Your problem is the thing... Problem. This is the thing that slaps you in the face with worry. This is the thing that slaps you in the face. Thing that slaps you in the face with worry. This is something in your life. No, this is something that slaps you in the face with worry. This could be an obligation, a vice, or an odd bit of in the face with worry, or inconvenience. It's meant to be something you're worried about. With worry, or this is something which either slaps you in the face with worry, or nags at the back of your mind. There we go. Starting to think of things like an arsonist. An arsonist isn't something that you'd be worried about necessarily, because it could just be that your problem is that you love burning things to the ground, right? It's not worrying you. It's just, oh my god, there's a house that just looks perfect to burn to the ground. I'm gonna get rid of arsonist as an example because it's A lot of these aren't that great. Last of my race. Again, this is for Year Zero Mini. So I'm gonna say God, this is gonna be difficult. I've actually got some in the village generation thing for under threat. Actually under, where did I put it here? Pitchfork, motivation, problem, addiction, forbidden desire. What could your problem be? A double life, a fugitive. Could be a fugitive. It's kind of like outlaw, fugitive. Addiction's a good one. On the run from witch hunters. Or I could do that for, in fact, I'll call that double life. Assumed identity to hide from witch hunters. Addiction could be addicted. Addicted to alcohol. So an alcoholic. I don't want to do that though. Bit too on the nose. For example, double life. An example is given below, but more examples will be given in the villager creation chapter later. That'll do. This is a series of descriptions. A series of descriptions about how you feel about one of the other PCs plus one NPC you want to protect and one NPC who you hate. These NPCs should be villagers which were created during... In fact, I'm gonna cut this back and just say, instead of one that you hate, we're gonna go with one that you want to protect. Plus one NPC you want to protect. I think I want people to develop the NPCs that they hate through play rather than setting it at the beginning. This is relationships. These are two descriptions. These are two descriptions about how you feel about one. About twice. I'm not a big fan of that. These are two descriptions of how you feel about one of the other PCs plus one NPC you want to protect. These are two descriptions of your relationship with two other... These are... Sorry. These are descriptions of your relationship with two other characters. And I'll do this numbered here. 1. Oh god, that's a new section here. One. one of the other PCs who you consider a friend. And 2, one NPC you want to protect. The NPC to protect should be one of the villagers created during village. Should be one of those created during village creation. The NPC to protect should be one of those created during village creation. One created during village creation. There we go. All right. Okay. Here's some examples of relationship statements, though more examples will be given in the village creation chapter. What, the village? I'm just going to change this and call it character creation chapter later, because the village and villager creation is too similar. So, here is an example. Here is a relationship statement example. More will be given in the character creation chapter later. Naive is naive. Insert special characters. Latin. Where's the funky I with the 2 dots? There we go. That work? Yeah. Name is naive and needs my guidance. Okay. That'll do. Okay. Motivation, problem, relationships. What I should probably do here is talk around how experience. Oh, I've done that here. Experience and advancement. Okay, perfect. Perfect. This is going to be based on kind of a mix of all the games, but really Coriolis and Mutant Year Zero. So what I'm going to try and do very quickly is find where they talk about it in Coriolis. Your adventures in Pitchfork will leave a lasting mark. In the same way that formative events in your past will have shaped who you are. Will have shaped the person you are at the start of a campaign or adventure. Your villager PC can use Right, I'm struggling here to output this concisely. I'm looking at Coriolis. Coriolis is one of the older games. I know Mutant Year Zero is even older, and it's quite wordy in how it's described. So I'm actually going to look at Vaesen, which is the latest, and see if they kind of distill it down into something a little bit more. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. At the end of each section, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to copy this whole thing here, and then I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to leave that first sentence, so I quite like that first sentence. So at the end of each session, your PC gains experience. I call this EXP. No, we're just going to call it XP. The GM asks questions. See below. And for every one that you can answer with a yes, you're granted 1 XP. When you've gained 5 XP, no, that's not how I'm doing this. Nope. Okay, so how are we spending the XP? Let's look at Forbidden Lands, because I'm going to do something similar to Forbidden Lands. It's going to be ranked. You're going to increase your skills. Yeah. But they're going to be based on your current rank. So if you have a skill of rank 3 and you want to increase it to 4, it's going to be 4 times whatever that number is. And I actually want to vary that depending on whether it's a career skill or not. So it's a little bit complex. So we look at Forbidden Lands to see how they've worded that. Player's Handbook. I'm going to go to your adventurer. Develop your character. Talk it through and let the whole group discuss what has happened. For each of the below questions you place, you get 1 XP. So let's look at these together, kind of. Okay. So, questions for experience. Questions for experience. 1. Did you participate in the session? You get 1 XP just for being there. 2. Did you face any overwhelming obstacle? How did we put this? I'm actually going to look at my Forbidden Lands character sheets for the game we're playing, because I've actually got a homebrew tab on here where I've actually worded out some categories I might want to follow. Well, one specific one, which is about obstacles and conflict. I might just call it conflict, overcoming challenges, character development. Did you overcome a challenge? That's really vague. Did you face and overcome a challenge? Well, I'll leave it there. A significant challenge, we'll call this. I'm probably gonna have to add some more things here for this. Were you affected by your dark secrets? It's gonna be more like, did you... This is where I want to dip into Coriolis, because Coriolis has some cool things here, which is like this one. Did you put yourself or your group, yourself or the other PCs at risk because of your problem? Did you take risks to protect your friend or the NPC you want to protect? Motivations, then. We get Forbidden Lands again. I'm actually going to open Mutant Year Zero because it has the big dream, which is kind of like a motivation. And I'm going to see how they've worded the bit around that, because I'm kind of... In fact, I can look at a previous... No, I've called it something else. Sorry, a little bit all over the place with trying to remember where I've written some of this stuff down before. Your mutant. Develop your mutant experience. There we go. Okay, so I'm looking at Mutant Year Zero now. It's this one here. Did you sacrifice or risk something to reach your big dream? So I think we can call it something like... Did you take risks to pursue your motivation? So I've got motivation covered, I've got your problem covered, I've got your relationships covered. I've also got overcoming challenges, and there's probably going to be a handful of other things to put in here as well. So at the moment, like, if you're really playing up your character and you should have a significant challenge in any session anyway. But I will come up with some other things here. I'm gonna just put in here, need more. We'll need 2 to 4 additional prompts for experience. At the end of your session, your PC gains experience. For each of the following questions that you can answer with a yes, get 1 XP. Boom. Okay, much shorter. Okay, then I need to talk about how you're spending that XP. So I don't want this to be highlighted. And then I'm done for tonight. I'm already half an hour over. And this needs to be There's a good point here on Mutant Year Zero. The GM has final say on how much XP, how much experience each PC should get, but all the players should take part in the discussion. Yep. Okay. Then we need to talk about how to raise a skill. And I'm actually going to put this as raising skills. So experience is there, and then we're going to call this advancement. Because there's two parts to advancement. One part is raising skills, and the other part is changing careers or advancing careers. So raising skills. I'm gonna look at Forbidden Lands, how they show this. The main way to spend experience is to increase your skills. To increase a skill by 1 rank, increasing a skill by 1 rank costs a number of XP equal to the new skill rank multiplied by 3. I'm going to start with this number is going to change with playtesting. Skills can only be increased 1 rank at a time. Learning a new skill at rank 1 costs 3 XP. But okay, so you actually already have skills at level 1. So learning an advanced, this is going to be learning an advanced skill. Learning a new advanced skill at rank 1 costs 3 XP, but you must also have been instructed by a teacher. By a skilled teacher. By a teacher with at least 1 rank in that skill. Sometime. That's it. Learning a new advanced skill at rank 1 costs 3 XP, but you must have been instructed by a teacher with at least 1 rank in that skill. Yeah, okay. That's fine, I think. Then advancing careers. This is going to be a little bit longer, but basically to at any time it is possible to learn new careers in Pitchfork. This requires a period of time. Nope, it doesn't require a period of time. It is possible. Oh God, this is. Okay, right. This is, I completely forgot about careers here. So the main way to spend XP is to increase your skills, increase it by 1 rank. Increasing a skill by 1 rank The cost to increase a skill varies depending on whether that skill is a career skill or not. Whether or not that skill is a career skill. I'm gonna make that like this. So increasing a career skill by 1 rank costs the number of XP equal to the new skill rank multiplied by 3. That can go right at the end. I'm going to copy this. Nope. I'm not going to copy it because it's just too wordy. Increasing a career skill by 1 rank costs the number of XP equal to multiplied by 3. Non-career skills cost the new rank, the new skill rank, times 5. Okay. That'll do. Learning a new advanced skill. Learning a new career skill. Learning a new career skill. Which is advanced at rank 1. Which is advanced. Costs 3 XP. Costs the same. Learning a new skill. Learning a new career skill. Learning a new learning a new advanced skill at rank 1 requires the instruction of a teacher with at least 1 rank in that skill, in addition to the usual cost shown above. Okay, so it's basically saying if it's a career skill and it's advanced and you don't have anything in it, you need someone to show you how to do it, and it will cost you 3. If it's a non-career skill, you need someone to show it to you, and it's going to cost you 5. I think that just kind of summarizes it without putting too many extra words. It is possible to learn new careers in Pitchfork. To move to gain access to a new career, you must pay 5 XP. I might do more than that. I might do something like 8 XP. 6 XP. You must pay 6x. The base cost is 6 XP. But for each career tag that is shared between your current and new career, you can decrease this cost by 1. Once you take the new career, you can no longer. This is something I'm really not sure about, but I'm thinking for the moment, for balance. Once you take the new career, you can no longer the previous careers. The career skills. Oh god, I'm using career like. I want to use career like 4 times in one sentence, which is not very elegant. Once you take the new career, access to the previous career skills is lost. Yeah, access to the previous list of key and career skills is lost. You are now focused on this new career. access to the previous list of career skills, but not keys, but not the previous key skill. You lose access to the previous list of career skills. You are now focused on this new career. I'll take that out. So the idea here is if theoretically you could spend, over the course of a few sessions, you could just spend a small amount of XP, not to increase your skills, but to take on a bunch of different careers, so that you eventually have, say, 4 careers at the same time. And if you weren't losing access to your previous career skills, so that's saying, bear in mind that your career skills determine, you can upgrade or you can increase your career skills at a much lower rate than you can your non-career skills. So by doing that, if you were to keep access to all those previous ones, you'd be able to theoretically very quickly get yourself to a position where you could almost increase every skill in the game at 3 XP per, like at the multiplier rate of 3 XP times the rank. So to prevent that, I'm doing what Warhammer also does in some of the editions, which is that it once you're in a new career, that's considered your career, and you don't necessarily have access to the advances from the previous one anymore. It feels a little bit metagamey, but it's one way to try and balance that out and prevent people from kind of abusing the XP thing. The term abuse is maybe a little bit of a strong word, but this is the way I'm trying to go for a very Warhammery type of feel here with the careers, and I think this is the right way of doing it, at least for playtesting. So yeah, that's what I'm putting it. That's what I'm putting in there. That tells you how you can take new careers, how career skills work within that. One thing I haven't mentioned is increasing within your own skill. If you want to increase your rank within a career, within your current career, you must meet the requirements for the new rank. This is given for each career. You must meet the minimum skill requirements for the new rank. This is given for each career. And you must also... No, you must meet the requirements for the new rank. This is given for each career. And you must also pay... we're going to say 5 XP. No. 3 XP. How am I going to do this? Including an XP cost. You must meet the requirements for the new rank. You must also pay... we're going to go with 3 XP for a rank 2 journeyman career, or 6 XP for rank 3 master career. And I'm not sure about those numbers really. I'm trying to balance out this career tag thing to gain access to a new career at rank 1. Oh, I'm gonna put this as a separate sentence. You start each new career at rank 1 apprentice. Okay, cool. Then I talk about that down here, that to increase your rank within your current career, you must meet the requirements for the new rank. This is given for each career. And you must also pay 3 XP for a rank 2 journeyman career or 6 XP. You must also pay you must also pay XP as follows. Along with an XP cost as follows. All right. Career, rank 2, journeyman, 3 XP. Career rank 3, master, 6 XP. I might even increase this a bit. I'll leave it for now. Okay. And I think that's me. Is anyone still there? I guess is the first question. Okay, Matilda, you're still there? I guess one thing I could do very quickly is I could put some definitions around these skills. And then I might call it a night. Yeah. Yeah. I think I might also delete this section here because this was an overview. And I think I'm just duplicating stuff I'm coming up with later. So I think I will remove that. After I've checked everything I've written in there is already covered somewhere else. Okay, so skills, basic melee. Roll to hit things with everyday tools, which can be used as weapons. Knives, axes, clubs, etc. Or to grapple with someone in unarmed. Okay, that works. Basic ranged. Roll to throw. Roll to hit things with with simple ranged weapons like slings or sling staffs, or to throw or for thrown weapons like rocks, knives, or axes. Climbing. Roll to scale a sheer surface. Or I'm going to leave it in there because that is in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, there's no skill called climb or climbing. It's called scale sheer surface. So I'm kind of giving a nod to Warhammer by putting that in there. So I'll leave that in there for now. Contacts. There's been a lot of discussion on how contacts should be handled. And I'm a little bit conflicted about how to handle it. Contacts. Roll to Context is just a bit funny in a village environment. Roll to find someone to help you. To negotiate. Negotiate the price. It's not really negotiation though. Context is a bit of a funny one, so I'm going to put this here to say roll to find someone to help you. Convince. Yeah, convincing someone is manipulation. It's kind of a weird one here. Contacts. Any ideas from the chat about contacts? This originally was something else. This was originally, what was it? Like gossip, kind of. Yeah, I mean gossip is an option here, but I've got this manipulation role. But yeah, I think gossip works better in this context too. So we're gonna go with gossip. Roll to. How do I describe this? Roll to get the people you know to do something for you. Roll to yeah, but how? I mean, I'm going to be very specific about this. With gathering information, it's kind of yeah. Roll to gather information from yeah, okay. Roll to gather information from an NPC. It's going to be fellow villagers, of course. I mean, it could be someone else. If you have a peddler in town visiting from out of town, you might roll gossip to get him to open up, or her to open up about some rumors they might have heard. So that could be a gossip roll. So roll to gather information from NPC. In fact, I could just look at some descriptions from other games and cheat a little bit here. Warhammer, for example, has a gossip skill in 2nd edition, I believe. So I'm going to quickly look there and see what they've put in that. I think they might even have a contact skill. Maybe not. But I'm just going to have a quick look at what they've put in there. Skill descriptions. Gossip. There's no context, so we'll have a look at what they put for gossip. They said use the skill to gather information. Yeah, which I've already got. It's useful for picking up rumors, finding out the latest news, and engaging in informal conversation. Yeah, so gathering information from NPC, which could include rumors, news, or which could include general chit-chat, rumors, or the latest news. Roll to gather information from an NPC, from a friendly NPC, maybe, which could include general chit-chat, roll to gather information, rumors, or news from a friendly NPC. That's good enough. Yep. So I'm just going to go up here and change it from context to gossip. So we've got crafting moves up 1, folklore moves up 1. Oops. And that becomes gossip. Alright, gossip then needs to drop down the list a little bit. 2, here. Folklore. Folklore is roll to know something about the region, a person, a legend, a person, or a place in the region. That's folklore. Or for knowledge specific to your career. I could put it here, herb lore. Herb lore for a herbalist. Knowledge of forgotten stories, yeah. So that's kind of what a legend is. A legend is a forgotten story. So leave that. Folklore, gossip, insight, inspiration, investigation. Search a room for clues sounds a little bit like Cthulhu. Roll to search for clues, notice small details, or ask someone just the right question. Okay, manipulation. Roll to influence someone through deception, rhetoric, charm, or seduction. Might. Roll to lift or move something. I've already done that one. Sleight of hand, I've done. Perform tricks of finesse like juggling, palming, card sharping. Stealth. Roll to sneak about undetected or hide quietly. Advanced skills. Here we go. Archery. Roll to use a bow. To use bows effectively. To use and maintain bows effectively. Roll to shoot, reload, and maintain crossbows and black powder. I'm going to call them gunpowder. And powder weapons. I'm going to highlight this one in red because this is what I'm going to be taking out, I think. Same with martial combat. Healing, roll to help someone who's injured, or who's hurt or injured, or for medical knowledge. Martial combat. Roll to use weapons of a militant nature. Roll to use weapons of war. Use melee weapons of war. Swords, polearms, etc. Polearms. I'm going to change it to something like halberds. Swords, halberds. What else is something you could use that wouldn't be considered basic? That's good enough. Basic melee. Navigation. Roll to find. In fact, I've actually got this one in here. I think under. Nope. Roll to find your way. Roll to orient yourself or find your way using landmarks, the stars, or the sun. Outdoor survival. When in the wilderness. When in the wilderness, yeah. Roll to make shelter, find food or water, follow tracks, or stalk prey. Already got navigate under separate skill. Sorcery. Roll to control the wild forces of magic. Swimming. Roll to swim. What more do you say on that one? Roll to swim or dive in water. Swim in deep water. In deep or fast flowing water. Roll to swim, dive, or otherwise maneuver. Maneuver in deep or fast flowing water. How do you spell maneuver? It's got an O in it, where I come from. O-E-U. O-E-U. Is that what I put in there? O-E-U. So it's using an American. Hold on. It likes the U in armor, but doesn't like the O in maneuver. Where's Cambridge or Oxford? Cambridge. Just gonna make sure I've spelled this correctly. I'm gonna just paste it in directly over this one. Boom. Oh, there's R-E on the end, but it wasn't giving me the correct spelling, so whatever. Okie doke. Roll to swim, dive, or otherwise maneuver in deep or fast flowing water. That'll do. So I've got all my skills handled here. I've got some covered in red, where I've got ballistics. We're gonna color this one pink, like that. And we're gonna color this one pink, like that. And I'm just gonna quickly say here, with an asterisk as well. Skills in pink, highlighted in red. Skills highlighted in red will not be used in Pitchfork, but will be in future supplements. Rightio. Alrighty. I think I'm done. So, let's have a look very quickly. Pitchfork is probably based on skills. Attributes and talents have been removed. Mention that here, I think. Okay, so I'm just thinking about what I'm missing here before I stop. I need a section to talk about equipment. So putting in a part 2 equipment, I need to put in here. So the second part of this book. Or should I just put that in an appendix? Give an appendix which is like gear lists. Yeah. I want to keep this like appendices. Equipment. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. I want to have the rules at the front, right? This is what I've been thinking. I want to have the rules at the front. Or do I want to have a summary of the rules at the front? Have a summary of the rules at the front, then we create the village, then we create the... Oh god, this is getting long again. Attila, I'd love to know what you did for your game. If you've actually... I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, what you've done with the latest. I did see on Discord that you were asking about like whether you would put a summary of the rules at the front, or... I'm just kind of curious what you went with in the end for your playtest document. Did you just have all the rules at the front, or after character creation? What did you do? Doesn't really matter actually in this case. I think I can just have the rules up front, then we do village creation, then we do villager creation. We call this character creation, not villager. Once the village is created, players should create their own player character, PC, within the context of the freshly created village. Players should then create their own player characters within the context of the freshly created village. That works. That sounds a bit better. 5 pages of settings, summary, then the rules. And then character creation after that? Or did you use pre-gens for your playtest? So I do actually want a whole section on equipment, I think. I'm going to put it here after character creation, I think. Part 2, call it part 4. And I want to have a section on magic as well, and not have that in the rules there. So this is going to be rules. It's going to be basic rules. They're going to have equipment. They're going to have magic. They're going to have GM advice. I think that might be all in one. Let me just have a look at this list here. Where do I need to put more information? Oh, this is also going to be Doom. Needs to be put here. Especially how to come up with unique threats to the village. How to use Doom effectively. And stats for NPCs and other creatures. Yeah, okay. Character creation first, then rules, right. I need to see how many pages this is really, because I think giving an overview of the rules might be the best way to do this, and then just stick with it being slightly more complex. So we got basic rules. However, this will be kept as succinct as possible to I don't want a separate section on skills because I've got it all listed out there. I think that's absolutely fine how I've got it done there. It's like a page and a half. But with the table, it's like 2 pages for skills. I can lower that down to 2, just a double-facing page of skills in the final version easily. Career is also fine. I'll be putting a little bit more to do with career later. Trauma is fine. Personality is fine. Experience is fine. Advancement is fine. Then conflict. Conflict needs a whole section, I think. So I can talk about it in big chunks, but then I think I need a whole section on conflict. Part 4. Conflict. Part 5. Equipment. Part 6. Magic. This is more for me. I can probably remove this whole section when I'm done. One thing I didn't put in here was inspirations, so I probably should put that here. So we're going to say Warhammer, Fantasy, Roleplay,
all editions. King of Dungeons. Mothership. Then of course we've got Coriolis, Phazon, Mutant Year Zero. Pitchfork is inspired either directly or thematically from the following excellent games: Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, Aquilare, Harnmaster, King of Dungeons, Mothership, Coriolis, Phazon, and Mutant Year Zero. I'm going to simplify this whole thing here so I can actually figure out what the hell I'm doing. So the basic, I want basic rules at the start. Then I want village creation. Then I want character creation. Then we're going to do detailed rules. Then I'm going to do what did I put on here for this? I had the skills, which are basically like what I've gotten the basic rules. Character creation, but then I'm going to do careers as a separate chapter because there's going to be a lot of information in the careers. I've actually got it there anyway. Your villager, careers, then skills. But I think all the sections under skills I can remove. Pushing your roll I've already discussed. Rolling die sixes means success. Negative modifiers is difficulty levels. Help I've already addressed. Parallel actions, not opposed rolls maybe I can discuss down here. Let's put this after rerolling and doom before we get to skills, actually. Nah. Alright, we'll put it after personality. So we've kind of got the elements of character here. Skills, career, and trauma. Personality I can actually probably move to a later part of the game, just to make it flow a bit better. So I'm actually talking about your villager when it comes to personality. I can actually put the whole thing in here. There we go. Just drop it right in. Kind of want to put that career table in here too. Ah, don't the table though. I'm gonna leave it. This is where I'm starting to go down to this really low level of detail in the rules overview at the top. So I think I'm just gonna kind of keep it where it's at now. I just want to think about this contents before I stop for the night. Okay. Contents. You've asked, Attila, you've asked about when it's going to be available for the public to read. It's going to be soon. I'm hoping within a couple of weeks. And that's going to be basically when it's playtest ready. But yeah. I'm very nearly there. I just want to think about the contents I want to put in here. So we've got basic rules, village creation, character creation, careers, bit more about conflict, equipment, magic. With the GM advice, I mean, there's kind of a lot involved there. So instead of magic, I'm going to call it like after careers, I'm going to put equipment, because that kind of goes along with the stuff you need for character creation, right? Conflict, then magic. We're going to call magic witchcraft, as I've done before. Adversaries, the town I can get rid of, the realm I can get rid of. So maybe the setting. So witchcraft, adversaries, friends and adversaries. So basically how you stat up other people. We've already talked about the village. We talked about the setting, maybe. Bit of setting. I don't necessarily want a setting to start with. It's going to be kind of this. It's already discussed a little bit in the village bit. Adventure starters don't really apply. Appendices don't really apply. So I'm kind of more or less done. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid that. It's one thing that bugs me as well. Even when I've done full proper reviews on Mud and Blood for Year Zero games, utility is one of the categories we rate them on, and usually they get rated a little bit poorly. Mainly because Forbidden Lands is great, but skipping around lots of different pages. Forbidden Lands, you have to skip between books often. Like if you want to look at the encounter tables in the GM's guide, it doesn't tell you how often. When you're in the GM's guide at the chapter for encounters, it doesn't tell you how often you're supposed to roll for encounters. You have to go to the journeying chapter of the player's handbook to find that little bit of information. It's like little things like that make it really hard to actually use and play. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'll be repeating stuff throughout, and that's why I'm doing a bit of a rules overview at the start, and then I'll be spelling it out in a little bit more detail later. But it's worth thinking about this at the beginning too, just so you don't forget anything. But friends and adversaries, and I think I want some GM, I want some general. Whoa, what the hell happened there? I want some general GM advice. And I think I'm done. So, one of the things I'm going to have to do is really scrub this section where I've talked about the rules. I mean, I might just make it a one-page rules overview, right? Really distill it down to the core elements in a single page. That could be the challenge, and then I could just pick some of the stuff up and stick it into the other sections. So that would mean I would have to have a skills chapter here, but I'd be okay with that, I think. So I'm gonna, just to try and fit it all in one page here, I'm gonna try and put this into a column. And sorted. Gym advice. Yeah. There we go. Part 1, the rules. I don't really like that. I'm going to go just with rules overview. Alright, Attila, take care. Thanks for coming on. Alright, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at a rules overview. Ah, come on. Why can't you do fucking... What a pain in the arse Google Docs is. I'm just too fed up to faff around with that shit now. But yeah, I think I'm more or less done. I've got the playtest feedback blurb at the front, links to my Twitter, links to Harry's Instagram, blurb about how to give feedback, what you need to do, introduction, what do you need to play, so what the game's about, what you need to play, what it's been inspired by, and what the context of the book is all about. So I can even make these links like that with headings. So I can say, first one is rules overview. Where is it? There. When you click on it, there it jumps down. Then village creation, stick the link to it. I'll create those first and then do that. So basically you can jump around to, to the various sections of the book very quickly. So that is basically me done. So rules overview, I think what I've just described is I'm going to try and keep this to like one page and just keep it as like a very high level view. I might not do bullets. I might use, well, why did I delete that? Shit. So that first bullet was about skills. Only skills, no attributes or talents. The heresy, the year 0 heresy. I'm doing. Yeah, I'm tired too. I should probably head off to bed. It's an hour and a half longer than I wanted to go. Almost, yeah. So I'm gonna stop now. So thanks everyone who's watched. This has been a really long stream. I'm really desperate to get this game out to playtest, so people can actually play it. So that's why it's taken so long. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do a second playtest with this. I'm actually going to be working on this in between streams to try and get it sorted. So yeah, it might be that I do a final video, just putting some of the very, very last touches on it, more like formatting touches maybe, that sort of thing, having a quick skim of it and then sharing it live. So we'll see. That might be, I don't think that'll be next Thursday. It might be a week after that, but depends on how things go. I've got quite a busy rest of the week and next week as well. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching. Apologies this has been so long, and catch you next time. Bye.